Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the FAR 139 for aircraft rescue firefighters. I know the FAR can be kind of boring and dry, so I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible to navigate through the website and go over the main materials that us as firefighters need to know for our not only our jobs but for interviews and any questions that the FAA inspectors may be asking us when they come to visit us during inspections. So you're going to go into airports under the FAA.gov website. You're going to go under airport safety. Under airport safety, you can go into the Arff section here, and that's going to give you a lot of different guidance, advisory circulars. That's all related to our industry, so they make it nice and easy. You can go into airport emergency plans, all those good stuff. And also right here you have part 139 certifications, so we're going to click there. Once you get into that, now you're going to go into guidance, and you're going to click under part 139 with corrections. This is the most current regulation. So once you get there, you got everything you need for your FAR 139. But for Arff, we're only in a small section of it, yeah? So we're only in 315, 317, and 319. Those are primarily any type of questions or any kind of reasoning behind what we do, why we do what we do at work. A lot of it has to do with the FAA and in these three. So diving into those, these are basically the main ones. So these highlighted, 315, your index determinations, which is telling you what type of aircrafts are on your airport, and that determines what type of index. Then you got your equipment and agents for your airport and the operational requirements for your airport. So the main things pretty much to remember is part 139, 315, 317, 319. Okay, so this is determining your index. So 315 will determine your index by a number of ways, but basically the main ones you're looking at is the length of your aircraft and the average daily departures. So those two things is what determines the index of your airport. So index A is aircraft less than 90 feet, B 90 to 126, index C 126 to 159, index D 159 feet and less than 200, index E at least 200 feet, so 200 feet or greater. And then going along with these 1 and 2s up here, it's based off of your five or more daily departures. So they're going off of your longest aircraft, but if your longest aircraft only comes in once a day, twice a day, then it's not going to really change your index. It needs to be 5 or more average daily departures of your longest length of aircraft. So that's basically what this whole thing is all about. So I'm in Hawaii on Maui, on the island of Maui, and we're index D. So we're 159 and 200 feet in length. That's where our largest aircraft comes in with five average daily departures. And that's pretty much all you need to know. Down here it says where there are fewer than 5 average daily departures, then the index required will be the next lower index. So if we have an aircraft that is, in between here, but it only comes in 4 times a day, it's 160 feet, but it only comes in 4 times a day, not 5, then we would drop down and we would be considered index C. So it has to be within these numbers of feet, and it has to come in 5 as average 5 daily departures. But yeah, you can take a look and read all through here, but that's pretty much the gist of 139 through 315. Okay, going on to the next now is FAR 139 317. That's your equipment and agents, and you can memorize these main points too. 315 was index, 317 equipment and agents. So now it's saying we know what index we are. Now, what kind of agents and vehicles do we need to protect these types of aircraft in these indexes? So, with index A, you're gonna need, and this is the minimum, yeah, you can always have more, but you're gonna have at least 500 pounds of sodium-based dry cam, halon clean agent, or 450 pounds of potassium-based dry cam, and water with a commensurate quantity of AFFF foam to 100 gallons for simultaneous dry cam and AFFF application. So index A, you just need 500 pound sodium based or 450-pound potassium based, and you need a water with enough. You have 100 gallons um, of foam. So you need 100 gallons of foam and water to supply that 100 gallons. And that's pretty much it for index A. And that's, shorter than 89 feet as we went over previously. Okay, so your index B, now you're one vehicle carrying, same as this. So you need one vehicle carrying 500 pounds dry chem, or 450 pounds potassium base. And now you need 1,500 gallons of water and the commensurate quantity of foam, of AFFF foam for foam production. So now you can have one vehicle or you could have two vehicles, one with the 500-pound dry cam and another one with the 1,500 gallons of water. They're giving you a choice. You can have one vehicle or two, but main thing, you have 1,500 gallons of water and 500 pounds of dry cam, and that is your index Bs. Moving on, index Cs. Now you got three vehicles, one carrying the 500-pound or 450. That's always going to be, you always need this in every index. So one vehicle carrying that and two vehicles carrying the amount of water for foam production carried by all three vehicles is at least 3,000 gallons. So you can have three vehicles, and basically you can have three vehicles or two vehicles, but you need 3,000 gallons of water for foam and you need your dry chem. That's index C. Okay. Now your index D, you can have three vehicles, one with your dry cam and two with at least 4,000 gallons of water. So you can have a 3,000 and a 1,500. That would work. That would be three vehicles. Or you could have, but the main thing is you have 4,000 for index D, 4,000 gallons of water. Index E, you're going to need three vehicles. Same thing. You need one that has, at least one that has your dry cam, preferably all of them. Have your 500 sodium base or 450 potassium base, and then two vehicles carrying the amount commensurate quantity of foam for at least 6,000 gallons. And this commensurate, it's a little confusing wording, commensurate quantity of AFFF. To me, that means that you need to have enough foam. Since we use 3% foam, you need at least that much foam so that you can use your full gallons of water and still have enough foam. So that's what that's saying. And then that's pretty much it for this. You just need your index E needs to have 6,000 gallons. Foam discharge capacity. So you need at least 500 gallons of water for foam production, and it must be equipped with a turret. That's what that's saying. So index B, C, D, or E, you need at least 500 gallons of water, and it needs to have a turret. And each vehicle, minimum vehicle water tank capacity of 500 gallons, but less than 2,000 gallons, must have a discharge rate of 500 GPM, but not more than 1,000. And if you have a vehicle capacity of at least 2,000 gallons, then you must have a turret discharge rate of 600 GPM and not more than 1,200. So that's pretty simple. The wording is kind of confusing, but most of our trucks have those capabilities. The trucks manufacture it knowing these standards need to be met. So most of the trucks will fall into these categories. And then once you get into your agent discharge, your auxiliary agents, so you're carrying your dry cam. Your dry cam through a hand line has to be at least 5 pounds per second, and your dry cam or halon through your turret needs to be 16 pounds per second. So FAA will ask that too. What is the standard for dry cam, hand line, and turret? And you can say 5 pounds per second and 16. That's what they're looking for. Here's another important one, AFFF quantity requirements. So in addition to the quantity of water required, each vehicle is required to carry AFFF must carry an appropriate amount to mix with twice the water required to be carried by each vehicle. So we have a bunch of foam barrels, big storage tanks in the back of our station. So we have more than double what the amount of foam that we have in all of our trucks, and that's because of right here. Each vehicle required to carry HFF must carry an appropriate amount to mix with twice the water to be carried by each vehicle. And basically too, for us, our trucks carry like 200 gallons of foam, but with 3% foam and most of our trucks are 1,500 gallons, you basically need 45 gallons of foam for 1,500 gallons of water, if that makes sense. 45 is 15, is 3% of 1,500. So with 200 gallons of foam, we could resurface our foam 4 times. We could resurface our water 4 times before we would have to resurface our foam. So you could go shoot all your foam, agent, resurface water 4 times, and then you would be pretty much out of foam and you would have to resurface your foam tank as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. And then moving on, now you have your FAR 139.319 Aircraft Rescue Operational Requirements. So this is where it starts to get a little bit deeper on your actual capabilities and what you need to do to be a firefighter on the airport. So starting with A, rescue and firefighting capability. Yeah, this is just basically saying that you have to have the firefighting capabilities per your index. An increase in index, letter B. So if you have an increase in average daily departures or the length of aircraft results in an increase in index, the certificate holders must comply. So now if we have an aircraft that comes in, a new aircraft, and it's longer than our index, then we would have to make changes in our index, which means we would need to bring in another truck so that we can protect that aircraft. So that would be an increase in our index. Reduction in rescue and firefighting. So it's also saying that if you have aircrafts that are shorter, maybe your largest plane stops coming in, or they only come in 3 times now instead of 6. So you could actually reduce your rescue and firefighting to a lower level corresponding in the index group. That's if your aircraft, a shorter aircraft comes into play. So you can increase or reduce depending on your aircraft and your average daily departures. Okay, so if you're gonna do a reduction in capability, it has to follow these three. So it has to be included in your airport certification manual. So the whole airport needs to know, your airport manager needs to know, and it has to be put in on paper. A system and procedure for recall of the full Arff capabilities must be included in your ACM. So if a plane crashes, all of our guys are working, it's going to be a rough day. There's going to be a lot of bodies possibly. So it's a lot of work. It's going to be a long day. So you need to have a system to recall. So we have our other shifts that would come in and they could take over depending how long the situation takes. And then we also have our mutual aid municipal capabilities that will come in and also help us with triage and things like that. And then number 3, so you need to do a notice to airman, a NOTAM, and basically let everybody know, local air carriers know, before you do the reduction, right? It doesn't make sense to do the reduction and not let all the aircraft and the um the airlines know, and then they bring in an aircraft that is not allowed per our index. So those are the 3 things that you need to do for reduction capabilities. Basically, just letting everybody know that we're changing, and we do have the protection needed for the new change, and it's all in our airport certification manual if they want to check it out. And number E, vehicle communications. So you're basically required to be equipped with two-way radios, which we are, and you can check your trucks and your airport fire station, and I'm sure you'll find that these are all the same. So um, you need a radio to talk to other vehicles on the scene, obviously, right? You want to be able to talk to each other. You have to be able to talk to the tower, because a lot of times they're gonna either give you control of the runway, or you know they're gonna let you know what's happening up in the sky from their vantage point. And then you need a CTAF radio, common traffic advisory frequency, so you can hear what the aircrafts are saying. If they're coming in and they're having issues, you can know exactly, when they're coming in and what's their problem. And then you also need contact with the fire station, um, and that's all specified in the airport emergency plan. So yeah, so those 4 things, that could be in a test as well. Interviews, if you're a firefighter going to driver, they could ask you all these questions. These is all fair game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All these other stuff we kind of went over. Fire station, vehicle lighting, having flashing and rotating beacons, be painted in marked colors that enhance contract. That's why we have that Arff green. Um, some of this stuff is just, if you're in cold areas, like I'm in Hawaii, so we don't have to worry about ensuring that our equipment is covered, because your water and your stuff may be compromised by freezing conditions. But that's common sense stuff. You're not going to leave it out in the snow. Yeah, and then this last one's kind of important too, number 3. As required vehicle that becomes inop. So if you have a truck that goes down, it's broken, um, you're going to have 48 hours. It says you have 48 hours to restore your index capabilities. So they won't just drop your index right away. They'll give you 48 hours to fix it. But if the truck is not fixed in 48 hours, you have to let the um, airport division manager know that, you know what, we weren't able to fix the truck, so we are gonna have to be lowered with the corresponding index um, for the remaining operative rescue and firefighting equipment. So yeah, if you have 48 hours to fix a truck. If not, you drop it down to the next lower index. Um, but for us at our airport, we are a index D, but we have enough trucks to be an index E airport. So even if one of our trucks go down, I mean, we still would have enough agent to be to cover our index. But that's pretty much it. Those three are super important. 319, 317, 315, FAR 139. Hope it wasn't too boring, but definitely got to memorize this stuff if you're an airport rescue firefighter. This is super important. FAA inspectors come in and they're going to want you to know all these requirements because it's our job and it's super important. So thanks again and stay tuned for the next video.